welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into our third match of the day here, live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. My name is Sam, with me is Hex, and we'll be casting the match. So Hex, here we go.
It's been a long day already, hasn't it? I think we're already starting to get a little bit loopy, but
yeah, we're just talking with Mitch about it, right? Where it feels like the games, we've got damage now, but it still feels like the games are very slow and methodical.
Is a little bit different. Yeah, we're still all trying to get our footing here at Stage 4, but it's been super fun. We have Gladiators, Los Angeles Gladiators versus the Houston Outlaws coming up, and this should be a really interesting one. You know what? The Gladiators, I watched them the other day, and I really thought they weren't going to be great, and then I watched them play, I'm like, oh no. Yeah. Los Angeles is like on their stretch right now. They look to be really good. And look, they're sitting in 5th place here.
Sitting in 5th place. Their opponents sitting in 16th place. That's plus 11. I know you're not supposed to do math, but the Houston Outlaws.
You're a brave man.
Sometimes you got to live a little, Hex. So they're down in the bottom quarter.
Right.
Not looking too hot, but you're thinking this is supposed to be their meta.
But it's not that big of a deal, though. They're at 16, they have 8 wins. Look at the teams that are 12 through like 7. Like, you only need a couple more wins. We have a whole nother 7 games to go through this stage. Like, it's definitely possible that some of these teams sitting at 8 get up there and maybe surprise some people. It should be the Outlaws meta right now. I think that I have some concerns for them going forward. I think they have one very good DPS player and then maybe a mediocre, and I don't think they can run some compositions because Jake and Linkser don't really synergize that well together.
But you got that individual carry potential there. Put Jake on a rat, you know,
yeah.
Put Linkser on a Widow.
We haven't seen much Junkrat today, though.
We have seen, yeah, you're right, but a little bit,
yeah,
a little bit, but you're right, very situational, this kind of thing. I mean, Los Angeles Gladiators, they've got less wondering when it comes to their damage players. They know who they can rely on.
No, they have less wondering because they have this amazing versatility on this roster. You've got Hydrations playing main tank, but then you have Lane Shore 4 Roberts here, who's one of the most versatile DPS players who's ever played the game. He's been playing since 2015 and has played a ridiculous amount of heroes. And he plays them all really well. We forget, like, he won the Widow v Widow 1v1 last year.
He did, in fact, actually click on heads. And he also did a really good interview. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
What did it take for you guys to defeat NYXL today in today's series?
I mean, it just took the meta to be DPS. I mean, we have the 2 DPS players in the world, so like...
You said you said 2 best DPS in the world. Are you one of them?
Well, of course, I always have been.
I love that. Do you personally feel like you like the 2-2 Warlock better than the other previous metas?
Of course. I actually advocated for it a long time ago before anyone talked about it, so.
Yes, I mean, he would say that. His team didn't exactly excel. Well, they did, sort of, but, you know, they were fine. But, I mean, a little bit of damage in there. It's like Carpe, I think. Well, Surf4 is kind of in that camp of just like, let me click on heads.
Shore4 has always been one of those guys who has been advocating for change within the game. Yeah. He's probably one of the reasons we have even Hero Limit. Way back in the day when we didn't have Hero Limit, he was one of the guys who was like, one hero limit, please, eggplant. That's old school for you guys in that old school Discord that we advocated for. On the other side of things, we talk about Widow v Widow. Linkser can be the best Widow in the world for Houston, and sometimes he doesn't get out of bed to play.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what he thought about his match. Yeah, that was I feel like you've been saying this since the beginning of time, though, Hex.
It's been true since the beginning of time.
He can either crush face or he can completely whiff face.
He gets like 3 right here, and then you never see his name again in the rest of this map.
Yeah, but that's Linkser.
Yeah, it's Linkser. He's super hot and cold, but that's why I always give the Houston Outlaws a puncher's chance. To use the nomenclature of boxing. But like, they can just knock you out. They can actually just knock you out with Linkser playing as well as he does, but then sometimes, where's Linkser is the question.
Well, you know, we're gonna find out, not right now. We're gonna bring their opponents out first. So let's welcome to the stage, the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Gladiator! I'm starting to learn the words. I think it starts with Gladiators. They did a piece yesterday for Toyota where the players actually don't know the words of this song either. They only know Gladiator. But there it is. There is Shore4 out there. Hydration also coming in. I do want to talk a little bit of Hydration, and we'll spotlight him momentarily. But a guy who's mostly thought of as a DPS player plays a really good Hog. And I think we're talking a lot about how good Roadhogs can be in this meta.
Well, that was something that we touched on earlier with the Los Angeles Valiant. Their rivals, Space, seems to be able to just completely dominate on the Roadhog as well as play the Diva. You know, Hydration seems like he's capable of at least half of that combination.
Yeah, and we hit on Shore4, but the other part of this DPS combo is Decay, and a lot of people know him as this really good Zarya. Brought in as one of the probably highest costing free agents in Overwatch history. A pretty penny, non-disclosed, but a pretty penny Decay cost. Also a very good hit scan DPS player.
Yeah, now he may get to shine that combination play. But let's go ahead and bring in their opponents to the stage, the Houston Outlaws. Quite a few Houston jerseys in the crowd today, Hex.
Always Houston fans in the crowd here. You can hear them screeching in the front row. But I would be surprised if we see changes, actually. Houston has been most successful when they've been running the same starting 6. Cool Matthew is going to be in the lineup.
The return, the man has just been waiting patiently, Hex.
Yeah. So yesterday, or maybe the day before, I can't remember which day they played. I wasn't here, it doesn't matter. They were playing a lot of D.Va and then Roadhog as well. And I think that Matt defaulted on playing D.Va in situations where he should have been playing Roadhog because he's been so comfortable in that role for like the last 18 months that I want to see him switch a little bit sooner today, go to the Roadhog more. It's definitely more meta right now. But this is the starting 6 they've been running a great deal. Linkster is actually not in this lineup.
Yeah, he's
it's
not
Dante and Jake.
Not on the start, so we'll see. I have seen him in the building. He is here.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like he's hiding somewhere. I mean, he is going to be able to perhaps make it to the stage. But let's take a look at hydration. Opponents for the Houston Outlaws. Any shocker there.
Our Brazilian representative here, his hometown there. But he was mostly known for his Doomfist, very good at Genji, kind of a projectile DPS is what people who knew him before the league sort of was. But he's been playing Orisa. He played Hammond the other day. So yes, it's a little surprising to have your DPS go over to the tank role, but not in Hydration's case because he's been playing all these other things. I imagine today we're going to see a ton of Roadhog from him. He's always been a very good Roadhog.
He has been a beast at the role. Let's take a look at our map set presented by Toyota. Busan, the control map to kick things off. Exactly, Boo. We all want Lijiang, we all know it. But there you go, Busan.
I like Busan. I like all the control maps, to be honest. If I could play only control maps in my ladder games, I would just queue up that all the time.
Yeah, because you thrive in Chaos, Hex.
Yes, I know, and you can actually play Tracer on control maps no matter what the control map.
Exactly.
All right, let's see what kind of rollouts we have for both of these teams. We were just talking to Matt and Mitch as they're on their way out, and we're trying to figure out how to call this meta. And since there's been so much Mei, so much Orisa, so much Roadhog, I think Ice Fishing is the meta name.
Wow.
Until someone comes up with something better, which will be momentarily, I'm sure.
I mean, you do have to wait a long time for action to take place while fishing over ice as well. So there you go, bit of a slower approach. Let's take a look and see what we've actually got in play here. Decay is on the Tracer, Surefour straight up on the McCree, but then Jake on the McCree here to balance things out on the side of the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, we've got a Sombra McCree versus a Tracer McCree.
We do, as well as the Matt on the Hog. So he's playing to what you were speaking about earlier, Hex, in terms of him needing to shift things up. He will be on the Hog to start. Hydration, a lot of focus fire onto the ball, but he survives. His teammates there to back him up. And the Los Angeles Gladiators looking to take first control of the point right now.
Well, bloodless thus far, as teams are just jockeying for position around this point. Already a whole Hog out? I'm sorry, no, I heard a different audio cue. My bad.
Something was there. Jake out in the open, not where you want to be as McCree, but he is getting support from his team. The Coalescence is there. Already the Noon, you can't miss that one. And Muma gonna find the kill, but it's traded. Tanks are dropping. Surefour going to town, and it will be the Los Angeles Gladiators to pick up the first control.
Very patient play there for the Los Angeles Gladiators. They were able to take that first point in what is an interesting composition. I think as we go through in 2-2-2, people are really wondering where does Brig fit into this mix, and they made good use of Brig playing slow around their front line there. They don't really even have a shield tank on this time.
No. Why do you need a shield tank, Hex? Sorry, we just got a little bit of a... I'm just getting some information here based on what's going on with the order of the players of the Houston Outlaws. He's going to get altered, guys. Don't worry. It's supposed to be double damage, double tank, double support.
With the 2-2-2 lock, we do have a different overlay going on. Don't worry about it, though.
All good. As already... Well, that's not exactly what Hydration is worried about right now. He's worried about using his abilities and surviving. Good positioning on his part, though. We'll see him through the fight. Decay dancing on the edge. Sound barrier used, as well as the whole hog on the side of the Houston Outlaws, and Decay right now, he's hunting. Can he find an angle here with the pulse?
This one should be just about over. You don't want to commit anything more to this than you have to already. Houston's able to take this one back off of the capable hands of Dante. Got in there, got to the back line, and really did a ton of damage. So much so that Short 4 is going to move on to the Hanzo instead. Sombra's just so good at dealing with like widows in the back line. You know, you sneak back there, you're invisible, then you have a whole clip to just shoot them in the head. And if they don't have grappling on cooldown, that's just it.
It's so difficult to deal with the pressure, right? Unless they can hit headshots. I mean, we've seen it happen. Right now, there it is, getting chased away. Dante, translocating out of harm's way. Sure 4 and Decay working together along with the help. I like that. You know, Big Goose chiming in. So the first kill to go through. Decay rolling out of harm's way. Sure 4 is there as well. The damage right now, the pressure. The Houston Outlaws just can't handle it.
Going to be a flip back over for the Los Angeles Gladiators, and this is one thing I would worry about if you're Houston. They usually lose fights when Muma dies first, and Muma has looked as though he's tilted sometimes when he dies first. We'd go back to like the quarterfinals of stage 3. Muma was getting hacked and dying first all the time, and Houston just fell off a ledge completely. So I think you need to really try to support your main tank and keep him alive, because they don't win fights when Muma dies first.
Dante right now on the hunt for the EMP. There it is. And he immediately spots out Big Goose. #1 target. Primo gets dropped immediately. And the counterfight coming right in here for the Houston Outlaws. Not giving up without a fight, though, on the side of the Gladiators. 2 quick kills on their side. And a third on Boink. Now you're just going to have Muma alone on the point. He's got Dante, but Dante took a fight he wasn't interested in.
Yeah, this was a fight that Gladiators should have lost, but then they surprised themselves by getting 3 kills towards the end. And they can come back in and fight this. Now they're take control again, nearing 90%. One more fight, and Houston's making switches.
What's going to happen here for the Houston Outlaws? Now you got Dante on a main. You're not going to have any ults to work with anytime soon. They need to get in here and win it clean.
Boink has to live. He has to live.
The bio nade making that difficult, and now we're going to get a boosted hole, and there it is. High noon. 1 kill goes in. Muma out as well. 2-man advantage for the Gladiators, and it's just a wipe. The Houston Outlaws, man, they're going to get the horns ripped off them, and this will be the Gladiators taking the lead in the series, 1-0. It's
going to be a very strong stage for the Los Angeles Gladiators. You got a rock-solid support line, very versatile tanks, and I beg the question, what can't they play on DPS?
Yeah, between this guy right here, Sure 4.
Be Sure 4 and Decay, what can't they play?
Well, I don't know, Hex. Maybe like Symmetra.
It was a trick question.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
everything. The answer's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. Like, don't know if we could go out on a stretch, Symmetra, something like that. But you know.
No. Sure 4 plays Sim.
He does. Actually.
He's got a good Sim.
Man, what? It's a trap question, Hex. Stop.
I know. I'm sorry. I should have hung it out there.
Well, Los Angeles Gladiators. This is still like. This is really what you want to see. They're coming into their own at the end of stage 3. They were a threat to the top 4 standings. Now they only seem to be getting stronger. They're hitting another level here.
Now the classic Reaper Sombra DPS coming out now. We've seen a lot of Reaper lately, especially on control.
And,
great pile drive.
Monster. So much. He's already up to 43% on his ult hydration. That's so good.
You know why it's an extra trick question too? Is because if you can find a DPS or a damage dealer that Short 4 and they don't play, hydration plays.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, 2 rules to go through there, but right now it's all about action, and it's all about shotguns point blank. Boy drops cool Matt. Decay working on the Blossom. Taking his time about it, but no need to rush. Raucus feels it's time to go for the Coalescence, and they get a DMAC on Void, but now you have the counter coming in here from Shaz, looking for targets to heal up our damage. Has to be careful, we lose Big Goose, and the Los Angeles Gladiators may be getting a little ahead of themselves here. They need to find a counter kill quickly. Apply some pressure to Boink or the back line, because otherwise they're going to get overwhelmed here.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of trouble, have to bail out to try to get a pack. They will take the percentage that they have, probably give up the Ghost here on the point. Now Dante's sitting with that Blizzard as well. Really good for the next fight going in. They haven't taken it yet, though.
There is the constant contest coming through, but this has got to be it. Yep, they will get the flip. 25% on the board for the Los Angeles Gladiators. The Houston Outlaws will now start to get some percentage on the board. Jake has got the high noon, so he can be chilling and just trying to cut off angles. He's got Muma's shield to hide behind when he needs it.
Yeah, defensively right now, Houston is just looking at which door they're going to go through. You have this entrance, you have the lower entrance, and then far right. It does seem like the Gladiators are going to scout this out. Big EMP gets 4.
Big EMP, yeah. 4 silences. Raucus, the focus fire is too good. Houston Outlaws get wiped out immediately. And Sure 4, there's there. Big Goose did commit the barrier to it, but the damage is still there for the Gladiators, and Big Goose barely survives it, so we will have the Los Angeles Gladiators flipping it back. Houston Outlaws end that with 33%.
We're gonna have to get like a DQ sponsorship with how many people are eating blizzards out here. That's another blizzard eaten by the D.Va. It's the thing is like it's not as impressive as eating a grab, because grab has like a much less wind-up time. Blizzard, you might as well announce that you're about to throw it, because the wind-up time and the throw time for a blizzard is really easy to negate with a D.Va. But that's like the 6th or 7th blizzard we've seen eaten today.
It's so tough to get off, and then you gotta be worried about it. But you know, enough of that. We've already got the sound barrier thrown in here by the Houston Outlaws. Jake lining up too with the help of his team. And the Los Angeles Gladiators, looks like they're just gonna go ahead and tap it out immediately. You've given up too much. Go ahead, let them flip the point and get reset quickly.
Yeah, Jake came in and took down both supports, which is usually just a fight-winning kind of play right there. So they do accrue more percentage, 45 and counting up now. So Houston tries to keep themselves alive in our first map.
They're on the fight, but now we're gonna have the ults coming online both sides. I think Sureford not too far off of that EMP. Could be a no found allowed situation pretty soon here with the Decay Dragon as well to get thrown in. So a lot to work with here on the side of the Gladiators. You've already got Hydration rolling his way onto the point. Gonna force him off of it, why not? Jake has got him pinned, nowhere to go. A Dragon as an answer, and then a hack as well. So he even gets a kill with the Decay. Both of the tanks down for the Houston Outlaws. Did get the counter blizzard out, but it's just too much damage.
That's a late blizzard. It gets a couple, but the damage had already been dealt there. Houston will lose this fight. Decay cleans up the mess. Very patient and nice play there from Houston. And I really like Hydration just going on the point. There's something I like to call like opening the door. Because when you put pressure on the point, then the rest of the team has to move to it, right? It happens a lot on Volskaya. If you can get back to the point, then you open the front door for the rest of your team. You saw Houston had to rotate a little bit, have to give up position, and that's just by being alive and being on the point.
Does his team thank him, though? That's the real question.
No, it's a thankless job.
That's the real question. He's holding the door open. I mean, come on. Sureford is there with the Ashe. Not often we get to see her in play, so this is cool. We get some of that rifle fire, long range, headshots about, and a big damage job. That was a sick nade in.
He will not be able to finish the kills here, but he's getting very close to his ultimate. One more fight, rather. Sureford dies late. The Gladiators going into this are not going to have many ultimates. Maybe Decay gets there. A self-destruct can open it up. The Gladiators would like a prolonged fight, but they're going to be pushing into a supercharger and a Deadeye. Jake can just zone out. Is what he's doing.
Exactly right. He's just going to be buying maximum amounts of time. There was a contest in the overtime. Wick is going in. Unfortunately, the bomb drops on there, so it's not really the best. And Sureford and Big Goose get picked immediately. The Houston Outlaws, they're right on the edge now. Keep it together. All you have to do is whittle down the Los Angeles Gladiators. The Gladiators have no other options. They have to win this fight right here and now, and they only get the kill on MoMA before the point goes the way of the Houston Outlaws. Tied up 1-1, Hex.
Brought back some big hero plays there from Jake early on in that, and we will go to round 3 of Busan. We're going downtown.
I was just curious, so you got all the Houston Outlaws fans there, and then you just have the one charge guy who just looks so unconcerned with the Houston Outlaws and the results. Everybody else super hype. He's like, I wonder what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
My team already won.
I mean, how good does the charge look, though? I mean, I've been saying it all year. Like, if you just let Happy play Widow, your team is gonna have a chance.
How good does Fraggy look? Man's on the stage.
He looks happy. They look
Chances.
very happy. But I mean, come on, Nero and Happy.
Oof. There you go.
Oof.
No, excited to see more of that. But now we get into it. We've gone the distance on this first map of the series. And this is where it all ends. Houston Outlaws, nothing crazy coming out here. Dante on the May to kick things off. And we'll have Decay on the Reaper for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
All right, so it is the Sombra Reaper again. What they're trying to do is get a big initiation with Hydration from the drop-in, and then follow this up with like hacks and then Hellfires.
Bonkers. Hydration just keeps getting into the middle of them, and it's just out now. Chaos is. You can't even see what's going on in there. He's just fanning the hammer.
And they just take it. They're playing as a group together on the point. They need to put some bodies back there. They're gonna just chase a couple kills.
Like they forgot about it for a second. No, get the point. Shaz finds a kill on Jake. That's unfortunate.
And it's more embarrassing than anything else that he just lost to a right-click Mara, but it's all right. Houston will take first control here. And Dante did enough during that fight that he has Blizzard going into the next fight.
Exactly, so much for taking over the point unhindered. We've got both the Moiras with the Coalescence as well that's about to come online, so at least in the case of Rockets, we'll have that momentarily. And Sherfort, what a surprise. Oh, the Halt hook, get out of here. Sherfort sent packing. Houston Outlaws with a strong start on the defense. Now you've got Jake with the noon. Shield was up, but yeah, that's fine. You get that so quick, why not?
It's not a great ultimate anyway, so you might as well just pop it out there. Like, it's such a non-impactful ultimate that a lot of pros will just use it to reload. That says a lot about what High Noon is right now. So it's great, zones them out, you might as well use it, pop it in there, and now Houston at 50% and counting up.
Oh, Maywall plus the Blizzard thrown in. Hydration surviving for now, but the focus fire, the shield timing. They gotta hunt him, yep. Gonna get rid of him eventually. Two kills there from Houston Outlaws. Decay barely gets out of harm's way. Sherfort just, hanging out on the rooftops. But it's 66% and counting for the Houston Outlaws, and the Los Angeles Gladiators just now starting to get some ults online here. Big boost with the wings, and then the damage dealers. They'll have a dragon for this next one.
The Gladiators are up against it here at 80%. You pop these eyes. Nice shot from Decay. He hits Infrasight. They also have a dragon.
Well, that was kind of a mental check thing there from Muma.
Sherfort just died. He was at 99% of his ultimate as well. That's enormous.
Oh, this is painful because now we've lost Decay as well here for the Gladiators. The Houston Outlaws, they lost Muma, but fair enough. They're still winning out. Shaz and Hydration, though, coming in with big kills of their own. Could turn it around. The Bongos making the difference here for the Los Angeles Gladiators. And now you've got the flip. Shaz with the trance just to guarantee it. We're at 99% on the board here for Houston Outlaws. And now Jake gets the pop in. Kills coming through. The backline dead for the Gladiators. A single dragon going in. That's Rockets out of the fight. But this is the Houston Outlaws taking the fight, taking control right back.
That was a desperation transcendence, and Houston played really well around it. They backed up. Then they reset their footing on the point. Muma drops Supercharger. They're able to take it right back.
Houston Outlaws. Strong start. It was looking so good here for the Gladiators. They're showing quite a bit of confidence going into this series and this stage. But the Houston Outlaws showing today they've come to play.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
I'm on fire. This one's on.
Special attack. Get in there.
Hey there.
Experience tranquility.
that's it. The grand finals. If you missed New York last year, Hex, how sick was it?
Very.
It was awesome. Yes, it was highly sick. You definitely want to be in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You definitely do want to be in Philadelphia for the grand finals of this season, the 2019 Overwatch League season. So be sure, go to overwatchleague.com, check out the tickets, get the tickets. Still a couple of them left, not many, so get on it. Go find some tickets. And now, Hex, we need to get into our next step, because it's already the Houston Outlaws picking up the first map of the series. Bit of a shocker there.
Probably surprising. Houston's been playing much better lately, but watching the Gladiators play the other day, I thought they really have a chance to
Sounded fairly confident, yeah.
pick up a bunch of maps in a row, but they had some clutch play out of their DPS players. Jake actually had a really good McCree round there. A little bit surprising. Jake has to play everything so often that we kind of overlook him. He's picked up the Tracer this year and has looked better on it. His McCree looked good, and Jake has to kind of be the carry for Houston right now because Lynxers was on the bench.
Lynxer was exactly nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but it seems like Jake and Dante together seem to figure that one out. Dante, of course, a trade earlier in this season to pick him up for the Houston Outlaws, a prolific Sombra player going forward. But he's also been known as a Tracer player. I mean, a lot of these Sombras that you see now picked up Sombra because they weren't playing Tracer, right? And they're like, okay, I have to find a way to get back into this lineup, so they picked up Sombra. Vor will come in for Hydration, very likely to pick up a tank role. Hydration gives you that flexibility. And now we've got Spree, the majestic bearded one, subbing in for Coolman.
Yeah, we will have him on the tank role as well. I like that you mentioned that, though. Coming back to the previous
Spree
point,
might play a Pharah.
but he's on a tank role.
Oh, that's right.
He
Yeah,
still got Jake. And
yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
Fair enough.
Gotta adjust.
I know.
Gotta adjust now.
Yeah, I know.
The role is set, and in fact, the players can be punished if they were to change their roles and lock different heroes.
That's true. We are in a 2-2-2 lock, and League Ops rules with an iron fist.
They do indeed.
All right, so Spree may be playing, I mean, he used to be their Zarya specialist, also can play a Diva. We'll see what he actually cues into here. A lot of, we're all still just adjusting to this brand new meta, the brand new beautiful game of Overwatch. Speaking of beautiful, God, Hanamura is a pretty map.
It is.
Until you get to the choke point on second.
I was about to point it out. That balcony right there, very ugly balcony. Everything else in this room, lovely. But that balcony, you see so much of it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, I know you like this, but something's got to give.
And what is it, Hex?
Because no one is, neither of these teams has won this map this season.
Yes, but there have been draws. There have been draws.
Yeah, but it's not a win. Still some offers on the board.
Sometimes a draw, you're just happy to get a draw.
I mean, I guess it's better than a loss, but it still doesn't feel good. Offensively, the Houston Outlaws are going to run Jake on this Reaper. A Mei, the Mei is to counter the Mei, really, because you can get walled off here, but if you put your own wall up, you can walk through behind your wall or bisect it.
Oh, you can do the high horse up onto it as well, up onto the balcony here. We've seen that. There are different options. Yeah, you're trying to just block it, exactly. There's the halt into it. Oh, door gets blocked, so you're in the open now, Houston. You gotta dance with us if you want, but Void getting frozen and some good pressure here. Houston Outlaws weathering the storm so far. Halt in, looks like the hook. Jake point blank up with the Shaddies. And it's going to be 2-3 kills here for the Houston Outlaws, and a great offense so far to kick things off. There isn't a whole lot you can hope to do here if you're the Goose, apart from go back to spawn and reflect on the meaning of life.
They just walk it all the way in. It used to be on this map that a Mei would be played even when she wasn't meta to lock off the door in response.
There you go.
Offenses started running their own Mei, so you put that vertical wall. You can also even do the high ground, which was like, I believe this strategy was actually pioneered in an Xbox tournament in like 2016, where you go high ground, you put a wall down, and then you walk across the wall.
I thought you meant teabag, because that's been around a whole lot longer than that.
Yes, no, you are familiar with a game that maybe made it very, very popular. The
console, I just think,
the tactical crouch. But now they get in here, and there's no resistance. A lot of times you have to use ultimates and have to use a ton of abilities just to get the position that Houston's in. They're in a great spot. This is definitely a snowball potential.
Coalescence window is up, though. The Goose hoping to get value out of it, and the Goose, he snipes Wuma. 2 quick kills coming in here for the Los Angeles Gladiators as they go for the pull.
Spree's gonna die now. This one's over. They're gonna clean this up, and it just took them too long to kill the immortality field right there. Like, the Frisbee has to die early on. Coalescence went halfway into it, then halfway into a couple other heroes, but you're not really doing anything if you're not killing the immortality field first. Often called lamp. Pros have really different calls.
Lantern.
For lamp, lantern. I call it Frisbee because it's just fun. Frisbee's just a fun word.
Though. You know. What is it? A discus? You know, so, almost 2020 Olympics right now. You know, it's coming up on Tokyo. Gonna start thinking about these Olympic sports.
Yeah, and the Summer Games skin actually has it as a discus.
There you go.
Producers on point. Thanks for that in my ear right there.
Blizzard.
Huge nade. That hits all 6, but that's only going to slow things down.
And he already had his ult, so ho to the hum. And now, well, you see, once again, we find ourselves in the stairwell leading up to the balcony, and guess what? Gets thrown through a big dragon. That's annoying, but they will be able to shift things up here at Houston. They've got so many ults to work with. So there's the sound barrier by Boink. Just looking to initiate. Jake being selective with his target focus. Blossom is going to come through now, but the D-Matrix is up. Instant deletion of the discus, but they are still doing a great job of weathering the storm here, Los Angeles Gladiators. They take down Decay.
Got a touch. He's getting really, really close right now. There's been a couple kills, but off of the point.
But Roar and Big Goose.
I know.
Roar and Big Goose are right there.
They were getting kills. They had that defense sold up, but not able to touch the point at the end.
How does that work, Hex?
I don't know.
I was looking at him right there. Well, they didn't make it onto the point, and that's 2 points for the Houston Outlaws. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, Hex. But we'll be right back right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
I'm on fire. Better stay out of our way.
Gale the Mahal.
Greetings.
I got a little distracted there, Hex. I thought I was hearing some. Oh, it's the music. Super hype, super hype. I don't know if that's in the studio or if it's in my head or if it's on the stream. I don't know actually anything.
I think
anymore. But let's take a look at the replay here. This is, in fact, the blizzard that forced the Gladiators off of the point.
Yeah, so
And
close to touching there. They try to get back on. When you're just hearing music in your head and it's not in the headphones, you're having a Sigma moment.
Oh, boy. There's some hype for you.
That intro is so dark and
good.
so amazing.
It's
I
good.
didn't know we started getting like David Fincher to do our hero intros because that is bonkers good.
Oh, I'm excited.
We'll be seeing Sigma perhaps later this year. As it stands right now, Houston Outlaws have taken 2 points here on Hanamura. They took our first map on Busan. Trying to come out roaring here to a 2-0 lead. That feels bad.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Rough one. And well, Roar, you get frozen. I mean, it is a Mei after all. You're just, you know, at least you still get to do things. If you're running into a Sombra with a Mei, you're just not allowed to play at all. Yeah, that's it. What about Houston on the defense? What do we have that stands out here? Not a tremendous amount.
Yeah, Spree's kind of alone just watching this flank by himself. And you can do that as Roadhog because you have the self-sustain to be able to heal up and to rotate back to your team. As long as you don't get antied, you can kind of take a 1v3 without an issue.
Nice support coming in here from Boink. Needs to keep line of sight going. Just barely loses track of Jake there, but he is able to keep the rest of them up. And so, solid work on his part. Still one on the point here, though. We have to be careful about that. Decay has just been floating around in the back line as this Tracer forever now, it feels like, since the beginning.
Yeah, he's trying to open the door like they did early on with hydration on the ball. Not really creating that much space, and now they're down 2. They gotta reset at some point in time, but it seems like both tanks are in right now. They want to take this 5v6, ill-advised.
Bit disjointed, especially because you've got Dante just being this permanent thorn in their side in the back line for the Gladiators. Big Goose just got hacked out in the open back there, couldn't rejoin the rest of his team, had to deal with that. That meant that Void had to peel back and go and support Big Goose, and it's just, this offense seems a bit disjointed here on the side of the Gladiators.
And only 2 minutes left. Only 2 minutes left for the offense trying to get something going. EMP comes up, gets the main tanks, and they clean it up.
Yeah, Uma goes down. Rest of them are still in this. Nope, never mind. Whole lot of pressure. There's the Blizzard going down, though. Shaz able to get around the corner, though, so he will survive. And this is certainly the Gladiators picking up the first point on Hanamura. So, took a little bit, looked a little dicey, but they got the job done in the end.
Able to capitalize on that EMP, and that's really all they had to use. EMP and Coalescence both charge very quickly, so you're fine throwing that in now. Los Angeles Gladiators still have about 4 ultimates to work with. Not the greatest combinations, but you maybe want to initiate with a Sound Barrier, but you know you're going against a Sombra that hasn't used EMP yet, so you kind of want to hold it in your back pocket. It's this really interesting dance between Lucio and Sombra going forward.
Off the case.
Cease your resistance.
Different approach coming in here, though, from the Gladiators, electing to just give up on the high ground entirely. So you will get the bongos up there. That's Buma set up shop. Roar, this isn't exactly your spawn, buddy. You're kind of stuck.
Oh, he's fine. He's got Primal, too. They're waiting for this Pulse one to try to get something, but misses the Brig.
Whiffed it completely there, Decay. A little sloppy on his side. Roar has gone Primal, but he is going to be able to back off. And they're kind of spread out all over the place here on the side of the Gladiators. Short4 takes down Spree, and Dante decides now is the time to EMP. He only catches the one of them.
A great counter barrier too. Big Goose hits it the moment that EMP goes down. Gladiators still at full fighting force.
Still in here. We've gone down. Jake is down, but they're not getting that. They're not spinning it out of control. Muma's still hanging up here. He's got the barrier just in time, trying to keep him up. Raucus somehow goes down, and there we go. This is now starting to reach critical mass for the Gladiators. Muma pulled out into the open. Not going to be able to get much more out of this, and now you're just going to have exactly the delay tactics coming out now from the Houston Outlaws. Gladiators, though, looks like they are going to get the job done here. Just have to keep their cool.
They're getting it done now. The Dragon can come in and lock one of these doors. It's going to go left side. Short4 gives his life for it. Regardless, though, even if the Gladiators pull this off, their time bank is really, really not good.
This is much lower than the Houston Outlaws, but right now the Outlaws, unbelievable. The Outlaws stabilize. That is unreal. How do they do that? I mean, you've got Muma. He's survived forever in the corner there.
I mean, Assault, even though the changes we have where you only get a limited amount of time by capturing first, Assault, you have to ace it, man. Like the last point,
has to be clean.
Your spawns are so far away. Look at this. It might as well be another map. They just spawned in a different continent than the final point is.
Wait.
Now you got to try to come back. So on defense, you get 1 or 2 kills, you're set.
All right, well, look at this change of strategy. We were just talking about this, right? Short4, maybe it was foreshadowing. He is, in fact, playing Symmetra. Fair enough. But now we've got...
It's a Sim Bastion. You want to get the Bastion up there.
Exactly, got the Bastion in position. And now it's like Buma, you want to hide behind a shield? I think not. What is going on here?
The IF keeps him alive. Immortality keeps Decay alive, but they lost 2, and I'm kind of just of the opinion that it's over now. It might just be over now. You can't lose anything on the offense.
Boink goes down, though. That's Boink on the defense. Hello, Decay. Yes. And they're just chilling out now because Houston Outlaws, they're trying to stay, like just stay at this HP pool perhaps to give.
Yeah, he's trying to get him up there. This is where they want. This is the entire plan of this comp.
All right, now we're up onto the high ground. Now you've got the window to go through as well. Muma gonna leap up there and try and knock him out of position. Not gonna happen. He is going to get focused down instantly. Now the tank is in play. You got Decay on high, just trying to find targets. There it is. 3 of them. Rapid succession, looking for the 4th. Rock is going to get picked by Goose, and this is now going to be the Gladiators. This is what you're talking about. Has to be clean, has to be quick and concise. Exactly what the Gladiators wanted, and Decay is just going to mow them down.
Yeah. Gets himself in great position there, and Transcendence is a really good ultimate. It heals over time, and the Zen's invulnerable. But burst damage will kill you through that Transcendence, and the tank mode did just that. We're going to do more Hanamura when we return.
So here we go, Hex. Because they finished with so little time in the bank, the Gladiators, they're going on offense again. They get a minute, and let's see how far they can get.
So with a minute, you generally don't have time to get ultimates up unless you get a very prolonged fight on the point. So this one is just straight up mechanics. Can Decay and Shore4 do this kind of Sombra dive, right? Dive was a composition where it was a lot of Genji and Tracer. You find a target, you isolate them, and everybody goes on them. We talk about dive tanks. That's your Winston, that's your Diva. Highly mobile, able to pick out a single target. Lately, we've been seeing dive tanks, which the Gladiators have now, and a Winston and Diva, and then a Sombra in the mix as well. If you can get back and hack them, you're invisible. The Sombra can actually call targets here. Call who they have isolated.
They were ready for it though, Houston. They really wanted to pick Shore4 immediately. He manages to sneak his way through though, and so they will be able to rotate onto the point as a unit. All 6 alive here for the Gladiators somehow on this point. A little late on the wall there from Jake. Didn't quite manage to block off the rest of them, and so it's still Chaz going down. And then you get the hack onto Big Goose as well. Big damage and big work being put out here by Dante. Dante on the Sombra, just so good.
Gotta go back home, that's it. 20 seconds left. You have one more decent fight in you if you're the offense here. And at this point, you're just hoping to get like any sort of percentage. Raucus and Boink did a lot of work there though. Some support ultimate's gonna be up for this defense.
Doing fantastic right now, Houston. They're getting ready for the lockdown. Shore4, there it is. Hack in the back, gonna get focused though, and he's just out of there. And now we're looking for the first kill. Who's gonna find some
Got a touch.
They made it. Decay made it this time. No double C9. But Void is in, and Decay looking for it. Not going to find the pulse. Roar does manage to go ahead and start off the party, though. That's Raucus going down. We're trading back and forth. The back line is dead for the Outlaws, but we've lost the damage dealers for the Gladiators, and the tank's going down next. Falling apart here for the Gladiators. The Fae. Blizzard just forcing him into a corner. Shaz has got nowhere to go, and that is where the push will end. Los Angeles Gladiators not quite managing.
They just got ultimates online as that fight was ending, but really well managed by the Houston defense. And they're not going to win this, or they're not going to lose this map. It's impossible for Houston to lose this map. They can draw, but they only need 33%, and they're going to go in. Hold on, let me just tell you the sentence and see what lands for you. The Houston Outlaws are going to go 2-0 over the Gladiators in stage 4.
Oh, buddy. 2-0 to start off the series, but hey, Hex, we've already had a near run back today.
Yeah, we have had some salty run backs.
I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I'm just saying.
You know, I'm fine with casting for another 3 hours. That was probably the longest set we ever did in the entirety of Overwatch League. Maybe our stats man can get on that one. Our first set of the day went probably the longest set of Overwatch we ever seen, but it was a good one, so I'm all for that. All right, 3:53 for Houston to put 33% on board and go into the halftime 2-0.
And we actually get the Jake Widow at the beginning. Could be fun. Dante has just dominated so far as Sombra, but that is the name that he made for himself. And you mentioned this at the beginning, but you had those Tracer players. All right, they made some swaps to Sombras. Dante was at the forefront, and Dante has stood out as Sombra.
And I think actually the Tracers who transitioned to Sombra have been way better than the other players. If you think of like Saviobi, even Sinatra, because like once you do your thing, right? Once you get the hack or the MP, you still have to track. And those guys are really good at tracking. They put so much damage in because they still want to brawl in there.
With so much time, you get to go ahead and just take your scout. Houston Outlaws, no worries there. Jake is going to go ahead and switch it up to the Mei.
Well, we have a second, that set we did earlier, the second longest match non-playoff ever.
Non-playoff? There we go.
That's
a good way to start.
We're earning our money today.
We got it. We had to warm up a bit. You know, it's our first match back here at stage 4. You know, I've got to give us a little bit of time to get adapted here to the meta.
And Jake, super low, gets picked off early. You might just want to reset here. Unless you get the next kill. Nope, it's a reset time.
Yes, because now you're just feeding ult charge in here. So get off the side. Boink and Raucus, they were trying to get some ults as well. And so Raucus is going to have Coalescence to help out with the next push. That's going to be solid. But yeah, the Los Angeles Gladiators looking good. That is one thing that can cut against you, though, if you're the Houston Outlaws. Because you're thinking, oh, man, we have so much time. You don't quite have that desperation that's going on, that focus. So we'll see if the Houston Outlaws can tap into that now. They will have the Coalescence to help guide them onto the point.
You can just kind of play this slow and play towards EMP.
Oh, play it over the top, and let's see. Who's going to get hacked? Who's going to get slashed? Jake goes down, and Decay, totally fine. just takes the one out to start things off, and now that's going to just throw a wrench in things here for the Houston Outlaws. Oh, nice fade away.
Hook 2.0.
So close.
If this was 18 months ago, that would have been a confirmed kill, but the patch comes through and saves Decay's life. The hook breaks out of line of sight. Let's see what Houston wants to roll in here. They all get antied, a huge anti!
Oh, that's so brutal. Nowhere to go at that point. Surefoot's collecting kills. Padding the stance. That puts him up to 10 final blows.
Chaz got 5 people with that nade as well. No healing, no hope. And now, we're down to 90 seconds. Shore4 working his way up to another dragon. This was the previous dragon.
Yeah, that's so satisfying. Just walk right in, get halted in, nowhere to go, mini grab. You don't even need a grab anymore.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the kill feed, you can see all the assists there, right? You have halts, you have antis. Like, that was Anna and Arissa's play, but Shore forgot all the credit.
Sure. He had to hit one button. He still had to hit a button. Yeah. Houston Outlaws right now. It's starting to run a little bit out of time here, Hex. They're down to a minute 15, and they have yet to... Now they're going to get to touch the point.
They're playing for EMP. EMP is their play right here. A minute left. They have EMP, they have full hog, they have everything that they want. Good position. EMP got just 4.
Oh, wow, it got 4. That's huge. This could be it now for the Houston Outlaws. Void goes down immediately. Decay hanging on by a thread, manages to dodge it. He stays alive. Now we're going to get the support ults into play. Decay doesn't really get the value from the blade. He's looking for a target, and he gets booped away. Boink survives him. And the Houston Outlaws keeping it together here. Decay doing the best he can, trying to hope he's trying to turn it around here for his team, but there's only so much a man can do. And the sound barrier is out as well for the Houston Outlaws. This is where they tip the tide in their favor. Roar gonna go down next, and now one after the other, the Gladiators will fall, and it will be the Houston Outlaws. You called it, Hex. The Houston Outlaws going up 2-0 versus the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Dante did such a good job there of denying healing. Anna was trying to come back in, but Dante was running gatekeeper. It's essentially as good as a kill. If Anna can't get heals on the point, you're doing your job.
So sick. We're taking a break. When we come back, the halftime show.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
I'm on fire. Better stay out of my way.
Gale the Mahal.
Greetings.
Apagando las luces. Gale the Mahal. Walil and the Widdick.
Houston is still fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they've showed up to play so far in this one. It's the Outlaws up 2-0 over the Gladiators at the brick. What's up, everybody? It's halftime. Malik here. This time, we got Brandon and Josh here. Guys, the Outlaws, kind of disappointing losing that match against Paris earlier this week. It looks like they've made some adjustments coming into this game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's honestly a mixture of Outlaws shaping up a little bit as well with the compositions they're playing. They seem to have a better understanding of how to play it, but also a little bit of Gladiators slipping quite significantly in some areas as well.
Yeah, I also think that this is really interesting that the Gladiators have just come off a win against New York and now are losing to the Houston Outlaws. Things are very much in flux at the beginning of this brand new meta, and it's going to evolve really quickly as teams start to get better at certain compositions, figure new things out, all this kind of stuff.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights. Guys, what is this 2-2-2 mess we're seeing, man? Things are all over the place. Now, to everyone's surprise, Linkster didn't get the start in this game. It was actually Jake, and he's been playing pretty well so far.
Yeah,
he has. Yeah.
When I think of Jake, though, I made this comment before. He is like a jack of all trades, almost master of none, and he adds what the team needs at this moment, right? You know, when they need to play the McCree to try and contest with Decay when he's playing the Tracer, he can play it. And he just kind of flexes into those roles and is that leadership figure for him.
Surefour and Decay, though, absolutely took over that first round. They said yesterday, or at least Surefour did, that he believes they're the best DPS duo in the world.
Do you believe that?
Oh, we're getting into that, don't
Do
we?
I believe that? I'm not so sure. But it doesn't really matter whether they are or they aren't if they don't have a game plan that works out. And that's what's really been hurting the Gladiators throughout this, is that their idea of the Wrecking Ball compositions just got stuffed by Dante slowing them down, Coolmat landing hooks, the halts, the flashbangs, and they didn't really have a way to adapt in game, something that Soy was talking about in the pre-show as well.
Really cool seeing Coolmat actually flex onto that Roadhog too, as opposed to playing his bread and butter diva. That was pretty awesome. Now, in Hanamura, it was a lot more Houston Outlaws, a little bit less close than that first map. We got to see some Jake on Reaper. Man, just make me happy. I'm just so happy with this map. Yeah.
I would say this is almost a pure example of counter-stratting.
Yeah.
The LA Gladiators are known for running certain compositions revolving around the Mei and the Batiste on Hanamura, particularly point A, and they were even doing that in like stage 1, stage 2. Houston knew exactly what they were running and ran a main Reaper setup that utterly destroyed it.
Yeah, that was a little bit later on as well, but Houston Outlaws in particular, I've been very impressed again with Dante. I think having a capable Sombra player in this meta is so valuable, actually, isn't it, as an individual basis? Because we're moving into this meta game now where you have to be a little bit smarter when it comes to the way you play that hero on an individual basis, whether it's the hacks you're using or whatnot. But again, another case in point example right here of having Jake on the team. Why it's so good to have this player who can play multiple different, have these different looks. You can just flex it in, and it's the counter-stratting that you were mentioning, Josh, as well. It plays into that aspect very nicely.
It was a cool cheese comp with the Bastion and the Symmetra to be able to get LA Gladiators their 2 points, but honestly, they were never really in this Hanamura game. Houston Outlaws were in control right from the beginning. And I think it's not just that Houston have a great read on the strategy here, which is normally what helps Houston get their wins, but also individually, they're having great days. I mean, Dante's putting up the same kind of performance he always does as a really great player, but Jake and Mooma have stepped up a lot.
All right, then by transitive properties, if Houston win this game, does that make Dante and Jake the greatest DPS duo, damage dealing players
I think it does.
In the game?
I think it does. I think Jake
Blizzard Arena, what do you
DPS
think?
player.
Yeah? Yeah?
I think they're not listening.
It was pure silence.
There are a few people.
A lot of Surefour fans.
I got a quick question. I'm going to go off script a little bit here. Why Spree in that second map? Do you guys have any idea why they substituted him in for Coolmat in that second map?
Probably just because they were looking for more Roadhog. So Spree is a better Roadhog player than Coolmat. I think they were probably running him because they had that specific counter strat. They wanted to break with the classic defense that Gladiators run, and it ended up working out for them. We'll see whether that's an interchanging thing that happens throughout Houston's strats.
That's a very interesting sub, and man, so surgical from the Houston Outlaws, man. I love what they're doing. All right, so going into the second half, we got Hollywood and Havana coming up as our next two maps. Who do these maps favor going into this? Would you say that the LA Gladiators can find some momentum on this Hollywood map?
Honestly, yeah, I think the Gladiators really need to be able to win Hollywood now, because coming up into Havana,
otherwise the series is done.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah. But actually, that's a very good point. Yeah. My brain's not in the right place right now, Josh. We've just been witnessing the Gladiators getting rolled. So, but honestly as well, if they win Hollywood, Havana's not going to be much easier for them as well. Exactly. The compositions we've been seeing on Havana, Outlaws seem a little bit shaped up when it comes to running that. They seem more comfortable running the Mei, the Orisa, the Roadhog. They should have a better time on Havana itself as well. So it is an uphill battle now for the Gladiators. If they manage to reverse sweep this, it'll be very impressive.
It's still possible, though. I think the Gladiators will be having a look at the strategies that haven't been working particularly well for them at the half. They're a team that tends to get back into games fairly well, and we've seen that they're a capable team with, as you said, a very good DPS duo. So it's still possible for them to claw their way back in, but at the moment, all Houston.
All right, it has been all Houston indeed. And I got to say, man, it's really weird after seeing the Gladiators performing so well in NYXL, now down to the Houston Outlaws. But guys, if the Outlaws want to win, they'll need a big second half from damage dealer Jake. And he joined us recently to break down the settings and strategies that make him one of the most feared Junkrats in the league. This is Game Set, presented by Omen by HP.
Tire here from Jake. Oh, a big tire there. Jake is relentless.
There it is, the famous Jake Rat.
My name's Jake. I play Junkrat, among other heroes, for the Houston Outlaws. I think Junkrat's key feature that makes him a unique DPS and key strength that kind of defines whether or not you want to pick Junkrat in a given situation is that he doesn't have to be able to see his enemies to deal damage to them. If you're playing that way, you're really maximizing Junkrat's effectiveness. And that's a really big advantage for Junkrat, that he doesn't need to make himself vulnerable to all these skills from the enemy team. If you're new to the game or lower level and you want to improve on Junkrat, the first advice is just it's not really a hero that you should be playing all the time. Junkrat is really effective in certain spots. Any 2CP defense, I think he can work just because the overall theme of his kit makes him really good against attackers that have to push through chokes. But if you force the character in every situation, it's just not going to be that effective. So expanding your hero pool is actually, I think, really important in order to become truly great at the game. Hey guys, just gonna go through my settings that I use when I play the game. Graphics quality, personally I play everything on low, and I play at 75% render scale. Just reduces visual clutter a lot. Make sure that your focus is on the gameplay elements that you need to be paying attention to, not on shadows or detail effects. I find that those don't really help you at all, and it's better just have them all off, get the game running as close as possible to 300 frames per second. The key setting here that you really wanna make sure you have off is Riptire automatically climbs walls, because something you can do with Junkrat is run the Riptire up against a wall and not climb, and that'll actually make the Riptire make no noise and let you kind of sneakily peek around a corner and see if any enemies are coming, and that can lead to some easy kills. All right, so we're here on the Temple of Anubis, defense, which is one of the best situations to play Junkrat. So second point is where the Riptire gets really, really important to Junkrat's gameplay. You can build Riptire by spamming the entries like this, but generally, the key point is to back up, make sure the enemy team is inside the last point, is close to the point itself. And usually you want to pop the tire right when they're about crossing this midpoint line around the mega health pack. So generally, I'll hide on the left side with my teammates. On this map in particular, you can do some tricky stuff with the pillars if the enemies are in mid. Going up one after the other can be really hard to get your tire, and you can come from unexpected angles. So just want to use the verticality as much as you can on this map. That's part of why Junkrat is so effective on Temple of Anubis. This has been Jake. Thanks for watching my episode of Game Set, and I hope I helped you become a better Junkrat.
Welcome back to the Jake Rat indeed.
Let them up.
Get in there.
Pass into the iris.
Apagando las...
60 seconds.
Cease resistance.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. From the halftime break, we heard Jake talk about the rat. And I mean, that's the thing. That's what he made his name on. I don't know. I kind of like blanked on it because he was like, in the thing, he was saying, oh, don't always use Junkrat. And I was like, but Jake, that's what you did.
Yeah, I still remember like Junkrat on Eichenwald, I think it's like where I really remember Jake's Junkrat the most. And you can force him into situations, but right now, the DPS is so versatile that you can just play anything. Jake had a really good hit scan DPS.
He looked really good on the McCree in particular. He was definitely doing work. But right now, it is the Houston Outlaws who are looking super solid. They're up 2-0 versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. It was touched on during the halftime, where you already had... There we go. You already had... the Gladiators who came out against a win on New York Excel, looking solid. You're expecting them to be the favorite in this match. All of a sudden, you've got the Houston Outlaws. They didn't even have Linkser in.
Yeah, they're going to bring Linkser in for Dante, which does kind of dictate what they're going to play DPS-wise. Linkser doesn't play a ton of that Sombra, which Dante generally specializes in. But you're up 2-0. You're going to Hollywood. And, you know, it's very fitting that Linkser comes in for Hollywood because this is a map that I always associate with Linkser. Second point of Hollywood, often called Westworld. Widow v Widow, you get those rooftops. Like, Linkser's Widow on Hollywood can be very, very good. And also, he's probably the best Hanzo on this squad as well, so they're going to run him on Hanzo on offense.
He's going to go Hanzo. I was wondering, is it Dinkser that shows up today, you know, getting the headshots, or is it the guy who tends to miss? Curious.
Well, that's been the story of Linkser. Either he's winning you the game single-handedly, or you don't know he's playing.
So,
very hot and cold, very streaky.
And back to spawn. So we got a little bit of a scout off, saw what was going on here in terms of the defense. And now we're going to see some changes come through here from the Houston Outlaws. Linkser going Reaper.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like they're gonna run Boink 2 on Lucio. So what you really want to do is like speed in, get a wall off, cut people in half, and then chunk them down with shotguns. Is pretty much the strat that Houston's trying to run here.
You'll have Rockets there as well with the deeps and the AoE deals. So in Gladiators right now, I mean, Surefour is just gonna take pot shots like this. High ground, gets to hang out. Not a whole lot that can really challenge him up here. Apart from Jake, I guess the long range icicle is always a thing. And now Houston straight onto the point. This is where it starts to get a bit chaotic. This is where you can start really dealing with Linkser up close with those shotguns. He can really ruin your day. Lifesteal as well, and he is just hanging in here, just putting so much pressure onto the Gladiators. A lot of damage, and also the shields not going to last as long with him just cranking out. 2 quick kills coming in here from the Houston Outlaws. Surefour and Decay out of the fight already. Coalesce is used by Big Goose, but it's too little too late.
They simply forced positioning there. You saw that the Gladiators were scrambling on defense. The wall comes up, and then the D.Va tries to rotate back around, but they're just in a bad spot. So positionally, Houston just won. They bullied over them. They speed boost in. They take away the cafe, which is everything you want as the defense, to be in that cafe and having the small high ground that you have. But Houston does a great job using their abilities, using the boost and then the wall to just steal position. They just stole it from them. It was rather bloodless. It's only been 5 kills this map.
Yeah, they just rolled right on through so quick. The Gladiators just couldn't adjust. And now over the top, Surefour already changed up. He's going to be on the Sombra. Roar decides now is the time to play the music. So we will get that damage boost going here for the Gladiators. They need to take advantage of it. And sure enough, Muma will go down here for the Houston Outlaws. And it's looking like, the Outlaws are going to back off. Delay kill on Spree. Yep. Nice stagger here on Spree.
And they're able to pull it off using the bongos there. Now the question is, where does this team hold? And with an Orisa composition, you expect them to hold right outside the gate here. So that Houston's going to have to find a good way in. Yeah, you see the shield already through the cafe, right around the corner. That's exactly where you want to be on the defense. They're going to back up, actually. They're going to give a little bit of ground. They're going to play hard.
Shaz at risk, forces the trance. Now you're gonna have Decay out here with the Dragon Blade, looking for targets. I mean, Boink had used the sound barrier, so that's gonna be it, but Big Goose is out of the fight already. Self-destruct does pick off Boink, but might not be enough here for the Gladiators to work with. Houston Outlaws are hanging in there.
It's definitely not enough. Now the tank is isolated. A couple of the supports are already failing out right now. And Surefour is on this Sombra, but he's had very little impact in the last several fights, not getting those key hacks off. Will have EMP for the next fight, though. But Houston's in a great position. They used Blizzard and Barrier that last fight, but that's it.
But you still got Blossom in here that can be used to really mess with you. If you try and go for the EMP combo, Linkser can drop in, start just cranking damage out. And they've got the ults online, Surefour. Just trying to keep eyes on everybody, but they're a little bit split up. Coalescence used already, so that's going to be in play. And already it is going to be the well, there it is. The Blossom comes through here from Linkser, trying to force the Gladiators off the point, trying to force them into an awkward spot. Still 1 kill.
Yeah, they should be fine here. Roar gave up his mech just to make sure that that Blossom got nothing. The defense matrix ate a lot of it, then he was still in the mix there, but totally fine. Linkser uses his ult, doesn't get much out of it. Decay's got another blade. You would like to be able to hold this long enough to get a nano blade in and just win a fight with those two.
That would be the dream. Shaz could, but Decay right now kind of thinking about it.
Oh, that looks so good for a blade. They're all lined up. They're all just sitting on the stairs.
Right now he's just speeding him ult charge, so I mean, that's the thing. All right, there we go. The push comes through. Now it's time to go for it. Linkser, 2 focused on the kill. That's going to be 1. Looking for a second, not going to find it, but still damage is done. Linkser out of the fight early. Jake next. Damage dealers are gone here for Houston Outlaws, but with the bongos, they still have to worry about the tanks. The tanks can still ruin your day. It's really, not going to be enough, though.
Really well played by Roar there. I think he's finally starting to understand, and it's going to be an adjustment period for these main tanks to know that you have to back up a lot more often. Because there's been a couple times where Roar's been all alone, he gets pulled out in positions, and he just keeps fighting as though he has a Brigitte next to him, as though he's getting all of the resources. But that time he got very low, he backed up, sat by dumpsters, dropped his shield, stayed alive. And I think that is going to be an adjustment we see in stage 4 of these tanks having to play a little more carefully than they're used to.
Yes, things can actually die now with the damage dealers in play.
Yeah, yeah. Time to kill actually is a thing now.
Oh, Surefour though. Once again, got that EMP. Looks supremely unconcerned. Just doing work. Void though to kick things off. Jake out of it. That's a self-destruct going up, and now Houston Outlaws. I mean, 50 seconds on the clock here, and they've kind of gotten stuck.
You have to reset right now. You just lost 1. You only have 1 good push left here at about 45 seconds remaining. Muma's gonna make the switch over to a Winston. And this looks about as divey gets. Raucus is the only outlier here, but he's on Moira because Coalescence is good. Moira can actually be a good dive support anyway.
Yeah, this could work. I mean, there's a lot of mobility there. Surefour is going to be communicating this over to his teammates. So creepy. Just hanging out there, not moving, invisible. You know, nightmare fuel. Surefour though. Looking for it. Put a little bit of pressure on the boy, and there's the Coalescence from Rock. Decides now's the time to get the party going. Decay, they're going to be able to remove Muma's head. Immediately gets the D-Mech as well on Spree. So the front line is gone here for the Houston Outlaws. The back line are the ones who need to survive and do a little bit of work, but they've got no other options. They have to get in here and win it, and it's just not going to happen. Jake with a kill on Shaz, but that's as good as it gets for the Houston Outlaws, and they failed to pick up a 2nd point on Hollywood.
Yeah, Gladiators are keeping themselves in this series. They are down 0-2 in the set, but a very winnable map in Hollywood here. DPS came to play. Surefour was able to go back to spawn with that EMP. Didn't even have to use it. Nice early pressure there. Houston unable to find answers. We'll run back Hollywood when we return.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Oh, coming back from the halftime break, they got a chance to talk to their coaches, and the Los Angeles Gladiators have definitely turned things around here on the third map of this series. They're down 0-2 to the Houston Outlaws, but they just completely shut down the Houston Outlaws offense on Hollywood. So Los Angeles Gladiators, their turn to go on offense, and I'm expecting big things, Hex.
I believe the professional term for it is winnable. Definitely a winnable map for the Los Angeles Gladiators here. They have to unlock first point and get a little bit ways through second. But looking very strong with this Sombra Genji. I mean, Decay keeps impressing every single day. No matter what hero he's on, he can play a really good Widow, he can play a good Genji. Like, there's a reason that this was the most sought after free agent in the offseason of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, that DPS combo looked a little lackluster first few maps of this series, and the Houston Outlaws were the ones to shine, but now it's starting to seem like they're coming into their own. It is fairly even in terms of kills for both teams. But oh, a great bio nade there. Really putting the pressure here on the defense.
The Immortality Fuel comes down, but they take care of the Frisbee. No kills still far. Thus far.
Kills, but Decay is just doing damage, and now he's nearly got that blade already. He's getting very close to it very quickly here.
Well, he's putting pressure on Raucus as well, but now that's a nice kill on Decay. Now Raucus is going to feel much safer. Going to have Nano if he needs it.
And Boink survives that. I thought he was done for, but he is going to make it. Roar. Hoping, wondering how is he going to get out of this corner. He can only really stay behind that shield. He needs Surefour here to get some damage in. Creates some space. Dragon point blank takes out the Lantern. And there's Linkser going down as well for the Houston Outlaws. So first kill drawn up here for the Gladiators. Real opportunity. And Decay looking to turn it around. The double. Boink and Rock is dead.
They played around the very first death of Decay so well. They just sat in there and kept poking, knowing that Decay has these movement abilities and he's going to get back in. So they were 5v6, but they didn't call full reset. They just played a little more passively, a little poke up top. Surefour was able to get in there, get the Dragon on the point that pushes them all back. And then the moment Decay sees that they're going to commit and use ultimates and they're all just hanging out in a line in the stairs, yeah, I'll take that blade.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets for the Genji. But he knows how to play patiently.
All right, this is one of my favorite Widow v Widow maps.
I mean, it is, but now it's Linkser. We've got to see some Widow play.
Decay Linkser.
He's got to shut it down. He's got to shut it down. But there's a shield. Both of them have got shields to hide behind, so this is the frustrating part when it comes to the Widow v Widow duel is how do I actually shoot anything?
Hey, just crack shields.
Nerf this.
Crack shields and then lob a bomb at it.
That was a really good bomb. Just have to not get anything. It was perfectly positioned right behind the shield.
Yeah, that was clean. Oh, buddy. Surefour, though, gonna fall. Jake is there, but the res goes off. Minkus instantly brings his Hanzo back into the fight. Still, payload doesn't have to go that much further here, Hex. That's the thing. They're nearly right on top of it as far as the Gladiators are concerned. If they can get one good fight, this is going to be it. They will be picking up the first map for themselves in this series. 2 quick kills come through. Boink and Jake out of it.
It's like all their healing right now. Raucus also falls very, very low, and that's it. No more healing on the side of the Outlaws.
Nah, they're done. They're gone. There's the Dragon thrown in. Insult to injury. Nothing here left for the Outlaws to contest with. They're trying to run back, but it's not going to be fast enough. And the Los Angeles Gladiators will get a map on the board. This is the Los Angeles Gladiators we were expecting to see. This is the Los Angeles Gladiators who showed such a great level versus the New York Excel, finding a win against one of the top 3 teams in the league. So, definitely looking like they're going to turn it around. We'll see how it plays out after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
this. This is not your path. Heroes never die. Team up for special attacks.
In 2020, the Overwatch League goes global, with teams playing every match in their home markets. The league will still be divided into two conferences, Atlantic and Pacific. But now, each conference will have two divisions. The Atlantic North is Toronto, New York, Boston, London, and Paris. The Atlantic South is Philadelphia, Washington, Houston, Atlanta, and Florida. Over in the Pacific East, it's Chengdu, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Seoul. And the Pacific West is Vancouver, San Francisco, both Los Angeles teams, and Dallas. In 2020, each team will play 28 regular season matches. And each team will host at least 2 homestand weekends, with multiple matches each day. Teams will compete all year for placement in the season playoffs and will get to show off their skills in a mid-season all-star event. The playoffs will be a multi-day tournament concluding with the grand finals. 2020 is going to be a blast. Come join the best of us for it.
Yeah, that's going to be so sick, Hex. The homestands,
yeah.
The two that we've had so far have been amazing. We still have the Kit Kat Rivals one going down here in Los Angeles as well. So if you're in Los Angeles, be sure to get tickets for that because each of these homestands so far has been fantastic.
Yeah, and now we're going to go all over the world next year. We'll see. Gotta get those freaking flyer miles up.
Gotta get the circuit going. Circuit going, traveling, event to event. It's going to be awesome next year. It's so exciting to look forward to. Still the 20 teams as well going to be going at it. But now you're going to get to interact with the fans on a regular basis. You're going to get to fill stadiums on a regular basis. So next year, so hyped.
Yeah.
There's still one more as well. Be sure to check out OverwatchLeague.com. We've got another stadium event coming up. It's the Grand Finals in Philadelphia.
But this one's feeling like a stadium event here today. A big crowd here in the Blizzard Arena. We have some Los Angeles teams, so definitely the home crowd has shown up here, and the Gladiators are giving them hope as they just pull it back a little bit against the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, doing great work like the Gladiators, but we do have a little bit of a change here, and I'm curious to see if it's going to pan out. Oh, the timing is impeccable. Dante, subbing in for Linkser. Now, so did Linkser have the impact we were expecting from him? Or is this just an overall shift? Maybe we need to get Dante because the synergy's better with Jake.
This was probably pre-planned that they were going to run him anyway on Havana because Sombra is a really good hero on Havana, which is going to be our next map. And I think most teams are running Sombra on that map. But, you know, who knows? It's Houston. Sometimes Houston forgets to even submit their substitutions, and there's been some issues with them throughout the year. But yeah, it makes a world of sense. I don't think Linkser was like the problem on the last map. It wasn't like that big of a deal. But I think this is definitely a play that you have pre-planned, that you're going to run Sombra and Havana, so Dante comes in.
No, Dante, I mean, the standout Sombra, and he has had that impact as well throughout the series. First 2 maps, very dominant. And I wouldn't be shocked to hear that Dante was the linchpin, was the key player. If you have a good Sombra on there, it could really be no fun allowed. It can just shut out a team completely if you're hitting those hacks and those EMPs.
Both these teams very good at Havana, undefeated thus far. Both teams 2-0 on this upcoming map, so, you know, something's got to give, all that. Green in the first 2 maps as Houston took a swift 2-0 lead. Hollywood went the other direction, though, as the Gladiators made a quick work of that map. Trying to stay in it, though. 2-1, Houston's lead. If they win Havana, they'll win the set over what many consider a top 5 Overwatch League team in the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Exactly, Los Angeles Gladiators. They've shown that they can hang with some of the best in the league. Granted, it is stage 4, massive changes to how the game is played. So we are going to be in that hurly-burly again. Not quite sure how things are going to settle. Teams have got to adjust. Teams have got to prove that they are, in fact, the best. But for the Gladiators, they had a strong start. Now, losing to Houston, that would really throw them into a bit of a tailspin.
It's not stage 1 Houston, which was, you know, terrible. Not to mince words at all, but they were terrible.
They were 0-7. That would be like losing to Shanghai.
Because like the Valiant were terrible in stage 1, but the Valiant looked like a competent team. Houston did not at all. But now Houston's played really well. They beat some of the best teams in the league, so it is a little bit of a different scenario but the Gladiators trying to pick this one up. You see the records at the very top of the screen, 14-8 for Los Angeles, 8-14 for Houston, but at 8 wins, you can still get to the season playoffs. It's still kind of on the outlier.
Wow, holding pretty far back here, Houston Outlaws as well. Not going to be the aggressive forward hold, instead right here at the first angle of the map. And now, as far as the setup is concerned, oddly enough, Dante is going to be on that, Jake's already dead, so that's as good as it gets. The halt, don't even need the hook, just get a bunch of arrows to the face. Jake is gone, another headshot there. Surefour just going to connect with face all day long. And the Houston Outlaws, they're feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, Stormbow is a pretty good ability. You know, it's so funny because everyone complained about Scatter and then they replaced it with Storm Arrow. And everyone's like, no, bring Scatter back.
Yeah, bring Scatter back. Now he's got a rapid fire bow.
Be careful what you wish for is the summation of that lesson.
Wow, Surefour right now is just the one finding all the kills. 2 of them there. Decay chimes in as well. Surefour finally goes down, but the damage is dealt to the defense. Houston Outlaws getting sent back to spawn, and it's the Los Angeles Gladiators powering through here. No worries at all on their side, and they will pick up a very quick first point. And the Houston Outlaws, I wonder, what was that? Was the setup too passive? Was it all the way too far back? Should they have been challenging a bit earlier? Bit of a tight spot here for Houston. They have to be playing like they want to win this right now. They cannot be playing to not lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a slight difference there in the mindset.
A really big halt. The Dragon comes in, does not find purchase.
Puts a lot of pressure in terms of the heals, but Raucus is there to try and top his teammates up. Massive AoE heals going through. Decay with the blade, looking for the kills. He's gonna get CC'd. Perfect crowd control. Denies it, but then you lose free as well. So you've traded 1 for 1, and the Los Angeles Gladiators still making progress on that payload.
I'll take the blame for that Genji dying because I was just thinking how good Decay's Genji has been. I didn't say it out loud, but it was the mental caster curse. I was thinking how good Decay's been on that Genji, and then he died.
Even if you don't say it, you're cursed.
Still a good push though. Surefour's got another Dragon. This is a great spot for it. You can just lock down that door, but he's actually going to be patient and see where they want to commit to first, because the Houston Outlaws have to wait. They have to group up and get in, and I think he might just fire this left side.
He's waiting, yeah, he's seeing it. Yep, 3 of them, soon to be 4. Ooh, that's a headshot, and that's a lot of damage. And yeah, there's no way Muma's surviving that one, not after taking an arrow to the face. Raucus and Muma out of it. The Houston Outlaws just getting plowed right now. They are not even on defense. Los Angeles Gladiators, this is murderous.
15-2 in the kill count thus far. And that Blizzard did absolutely nothing. It only caught 2, but it caught Orisa and Zenyatta, and they both just use abilities to not get frozen at all. Yeah, the Outlaws are being pushed back like they're on roller skates right now. I mean, the defense has been non-existent. They've not really been able to set a point and hold it. They're just getting rocked here. Maybe an EMP can help them stabilize, but that's what they have to be hoping for. I mean, that's why you brought Dante in, right? So that he can play Sombra.
You're hoping. I mean, he's kind of been hanging around in the back line for now. Still waiting for that time when your teammate, you know, you kind of don't want your teammates to be dead when you try to make the play.
So leaded.
Well, that's a strong start, at least. That's what you were hoping for here. Jake getting a headshot. That's big. Dante out of harm's way. No worries there. And this is perhaps where the Houston Outlaws can draw the line, or at least start to put up a fight versus the Gladiators. The Gladiators, though, they are getting ults online. There's the self-destruct. Chucked over. Trying to draw him in. Spree will survive it. Jake will go for 1, but then it's traded back and forth. So far, 5v5. This will favor the defense for now, at least.
That's really, really good peel to allow that resurrection to happen.
Oh, buddy. Well, there you go. The hack and slash from Decay. 3 for him. Los Angeles Gladiators, all they have to do, I guess, is just wait for Decay to get his ultimate online and then just sit back and relax, because he's just going to get the job done.
I mean, that's kind of the state of Genji right now. When was the last time you saw Genji get a kill that wasn't a Dragon Blade? It's pretty much just an ult bot, but he charges it up so quickly that you just wait for it and let him go in. Other than that, he's just poking away trying to get Blade.
Oh, we've got to see. Gladiators right now, they're on course for setting a new record on offense here on Havana. If they can top 311, they're going to get it. EMP over the top. Surefour is there to take down Jake, and they are still fighting on this point. Roar goes down, so they're down a man here for the Gladiators. And never mind, ruined. Houston Outlaws fight back. And while the Gladiators get robbed of a record.
Yeah, a little bit rough there. Anti-heal comes down, make sure that that Transcendence isn't doing anything. Roar falls first, and after that, if you lose your main tank, your anchor tank, everything will fall like dominoes afterwards. Still 3 minutes on the clock for the offense of the Los Angeles Gladiators. But they used everything. They used everything they had. Now, the small interesting minigame is going to be Void versus Muma, because if you can time it right, you see that shield go down, then you can toss in your self-destruct and really gain a lot of position.
I thought it was the most interesting game was that game of Pop Goes the Weasel there with Jake and Surefort just jumping up and down, taking pot shots at each other. Who was going to do it?
Dante was lurking in back the entire time. Most of the Gladiators moved too far ahead of Shaz, so that's an easy pick-off. And while they try to cover for the resurrection, Void loses his mech.
Nice work there from Jake. And now a little bit of focus fire here onto Surefort, who gets caught out. He's alone though, so 2 minutes on the clock, and this is really the difficult spot. Oh! Decay goes for the blade and gets nothing for it. The Houston Outlaws right now showing up that they can put up a fight. We're down to sub 2 minutes here for the Los Angeles Gladiators, 1:50 on the clock, and the Houston Outlaws, they've stabilized and they've got an excellent ult count.
So Decay had an attempt at the blade. He goes over to Widow, but Jake shut him down before the animation can even complete. Check this out right here.
Well, there's the storm. The storm.
Yeah, I mean, that's just you know, I think he was going to switch, so you kind of pop it anyway, but it's not it doesn't feel like a good decision.
It does leave something to be desired, but Houston Outlaws right now, they don't really have much to be desired apart from Muma's bongos, because everybody else has got their ult. Never mind, Jake dies somehow to a self-destruct. Curious how that happened. We will get the res off. Jake brought back into the fight. He's still got the dragon. Dante with the EMP is in there as well. But Surefort looking to ruin that party. Finds the kill on Raucus. Counter thrown in by Jake. We're just trading ults back and forth right now. Everybody had everything to play for here, but the Houston Outlaws showing defense still holds. 50 seconds on the clock now for the Gladiators.
Yeah, double dragons, but it is Decay who finds a clutch kill onto point that opens the window.
Now Spray's just gonna set that up. Fresh mech for him. Yep. Void tried to deny it. Not gonna happen. And they are starting to run out of time. But this isn't just unreasonable. It is so hard to push through here effectively. Surefort finding a kill to kick things off on Spree could turn it around.
Taking a really odd angle here. Good spacing from his tank play. Trying to get Raucus.
Yeah, but you're also losing your team as well. You're losing Big Goose. You've lost Void. Decay goes down. Shaz as well. So you try to make the play happen there, and it was well thought out, but the Houston Outlaws, they pounce. They remove the Gladiators from the map, and now we're down to 9 seconds on the map here for the Gladiators.
Well, they get a couple, but it's not enough. Now someone's got to go in. Nano is ready as well, but Dante continues to be a nuisance in the back line. Almost EMP.
Oh, he's going to get it right now off of this Hammond. Yep, there it is. Hammond is gone. Roar is out. Now, yup, over the top. There's the EMP. Surefort gonna go down. Not quite able to connect the shots. Keep your mind, keep your focus on the payload, though. It's not about the kills. It's about stopping that payload and getting the contest. Muma over the top with the smash. Manages to just disrupt things a little bit, but the Gladiators are doing a good job of not getting flustered. They're keeping it together. Decay on the Tracer looking for a flank, and they're still in this. Dragon over the top, right through the point. Muma takes down Void. There it is. Looks like the Houston Outlaws will stabilize, and they stop it. Just short of 3 points for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Los Angeles got it as far as you can get it without actually completing the map. Still staying alive here. That last point is ridiculously hard to finish out once you get stalled. You kind of need to push it about 100 meters straight to get it to the end, but once it's there, defenders have respawn advantage. They have this really glorious high ground that they spawn on high ground. It doesn't seem entirely fair, and then it takes you everything to be able to push to the end. So a very good offense for the Gladiators. Get it towards the end. Houston trying to close out this series. They are up 2-1. You couldn't tell by looking at Muma, but yeah, they're in a good spot.
They are in a decent spot. You're right. I mean, it's all just about staying focused here, because the Gladiators are going to be feeling frustrated, like perhaps they could have got the job done. Right now we're seeing a lot of talking happen over here on the Houston Outlaw side of things. Jake is usually going to be the one trying to bring that in, trying to bring the team together, focused up. And we're back in the city, Hacks. Gets a little confusing, you know, you're out there in a castle and then all of a sudden, you know, back out here staring at Domber Bodico.
It's such a clever play on words.
Hey.
Rumbatic.
Yeah, I know, except how would he know what rum tastes like, Hex? You know, what would good rum?
Another question for the philosophers, you know. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Blade Runner in the house. Phil K. Dick, right? Yeah, Phil K. Dick. So good. Los Angeles Gladiators. Oh, in case you're wondering the reference, Blade Runner is based on that book. That's why you get it in there. So Houston Outlaws on the offense. And now you got a bit of a defense chant going up here from the fans and the Gladiators, but I thought there were more Los Angeles Gladiators fans in the house. They're pretty quiet right now. I don't know. We got to get some noise going here and get their team pumped up because they must hold to keep alive here. Houston Outlaws are the team with the win and within their grasp, and there it is to kick things off. Decay already gone. Big Goose gets the res off, but that's the res used. And now the pressure is really going to start getting cranked up. A nice sleep on Jake, leaves him out in the open. He is able to stabilize though.
Now they got Raucous though, which is really nice, but if you're the Gladiators, you have to find an answer for what Dante's doing in your backline, because not only is he getting the kills, but he is putting the fear in them. So a lot of the times, these supports are looking around like there's someone behind them, because there is.
Yeah.
Dante's been behind them, he's been getting solo kills, and it's such a big differentiation between the best Sombras and just somebody playing Sombra. Are you getting kills alone? Are you doing anything without EMP? And Dante's a great example of someone who's actually effective when he's not using ultimate.
He's reading some Sun Tzu, you know? He wins the fight without even having to fight Hex.
Exactly.
He doesn't even need to be there anymore, and they're already losing it. Dragon getting snuck in here by Surefour. And well, there it is. 2 kills coming through here for the Houston Outlaws. Thanks to the invulnerability, they are going to survive it. No worries there. And well, this is going to be the Houston Outlaws picking up a first point fairly quickly. Might be able to contest again. They might be able to sneak the contest here for the Gladiators if they're quick.
They should be able to. There should be at least one more touch coming out here. You'd imagine that the nano gets thrown in, but the target probably going to be 4?
They've got to wait, and Roar's waiting. Yep, waiting for the rest of the team to gather up, and sure enough, there it is. Shield goes down, instantly melted. Roar also instantly melted, and that's why I was kind of wondering, are they going to be able to get there in time or not? Him running out completely alone just means he's going to die completely alone.
Yeah. Bare naked, unable to really get anything done with that contest, and Houston continues to push. And yeah, it's just Dante. Dante's always there.
Just letting him know.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to do any damage there. Just letting him know.
No, just letting you know. I know where you are.
I'm here.
I might need this later.
They need an emote in the game for Sombra where she does like points at her eyes and then points at somebody else.
I'm watching. Big brother.
If Houston finishes this map, they win the series.
They do.
Up 2-1.
That's what's on the line right now.
And the Gladiators did not complete Havana.
Gotta be careful there, Jake. Looking for the far, looking for the shot. Can he get the punish here? Because yes, Big Goose looks like he wanted to go for the res, and it looks like it's gonna happen. Shaz brought back in, but that means that the Goose isn't there with the rest of the team. And now you're gonna get the Dragon thrown here by Jake. Trying to cut this team up in half. Roar gets silenced in the corner. He's getting pocketed though. But we've lost Void's mech, and Void himself goes down next. Houston Outlaws right now. Hex, what is going on here? First 2 points for both of these teams have been so clean.
You have to give Boink a ton of credit here, being able to pick up the Baptiste as quickly as he has, because this IF has kept people alive several times. If you look at it, then everyone's health has gone down to that notch.
Yes.
That notch that IF will keep you alive in. And it happened the previous fight, it happened right there. These immortality, invulnerability fields, I don't know which one it is, I keep confusing it, but it doesn't matter. Everyone's staying alive, and look at it again, another huge IF for Boink.
They've got good positioning here on the side of the Gladiators though. And now it's Decay. Oh, snuffed by Jake. You wanted to get some value out of that blade? I don't think so. This is going the way of the Houston Outlaws again. Shaz in the open, gone. Void hoping to delay just a little bit. This is just time getting burned off the clock. It's not a whole lot. And the Houston Outlaws, 2 points for them. 4 minutes on the clock. So close now, Hex, to getting the job done.
Boink is like not even using his rifle. He's not even trying to do damage. He's done less than 2,000 damage, which is 4% of his team's damage, just in context of that. But he's keeping everybody alive, and he's getting these ultimates up very quickly. He's charging ults every minute. He's dropping window every chance he gets, but he's using that amplification matrix just to heal his team. He's putting out so much healing right now, and this is one of the first times we've seen him on this hero, so it's really nice. Another great IF. They focus it down though.
both of them, in fact, for the Houston Outlaws. In terms of heals, both of these support lines, both of these support players are just completely outperforming the Gladiators side. This is going to be a one fight here for the Gladiators, and now it's going to get a little bit more rough here for the Houston Outlaws. They got to push through these choke points.
Yeah, this is a weird part of the map too, because the spawn is right around the corner there, and you see a lot of defenses hold just like right at this door, and now you're going to see the face-off here. Outlaws with a bevy of ultimates to use, most importantly, of course, being that EMP. Luma's got to stay alive, you got to wait. But now they're not going to be able to EMP because Infrasight is up, right? You're not going to be able to sneak around as Sombra.
Decay.
They have to wait it out. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just waiting.
They have time. 247. Gotta be careful, though. I mean, Raucus and Boink have already got all their ult charge, and now you've lost Dante. Gonna slow things down further here. So reset hard. Don't even peek. Don't even peek. Don't show yourself. Just
Raucus has to be a little bit careful. He's way off to the side. But what you're waiting for here is essentially just to get an EMP off.
Can you get out here, though? Shield is up, and man, it's just relentless. It's so much pressure. Decay just not missing a shot. You run out in the open, and you're dead. Unreal. 11 final blows on the board now for Decay. He seems like he's finally hitting his stride here.
Worth every penny.
I don't know. Sureforce got more final blows than him. This is it. Prove yourself. Dante gonna look for that win on that one. Jake takes down Roar. Decay just trying to chime in here. A little bit of damage. And they've got to win this fight clean. They have to start getting some progress on this payload if you're the Houston Outlaws. The Goose has been plucked. Self-destruct over the top for a triple. And the Los Angeles Gladiators right now, they are making Houston Outlaws earn it every step of the way. A minute and a half on the clock. And finally, when the dust settles, it's just Spree at like a quarter HP pushing the payload.
They needed that one so big, but they are going to have to give up some progress here. And with that, the positioning that the defense allows you, going to be able to hold around Pillar here. Only 1 minute and 15 seconds remain. But so far, the Outlaws have been getting rocked so bad they haven't had to use ult. So they still have EMP and Dragon ready to go.
Yeah, now you've got the bongos down. Immortality Field there as well. The Dragon gets chucked in, and that is going to be the initial kill. Roar out of it. Denied the res as well. Not going to happen for Big Goose. Big Goose, in fact, gives up his life. Big opportunity here for the Houston Outlaws to get some serious progress on this payload. Keep 3 on it. Get rid of the contestant. Keep 3 on it. You need every meter here before the Los Angeles Gladiators come back to life. Big Goose has got the wings.
That's it, though. That's all the Gladiators have. Maybe Short4 gets to a Dragon here, but even then, a Transcendence could do very well against it. Gladiators up against the wall.
So tough, and now we're going to get the window online here for Boink. Doesn't waste any time, does he? Come on, you got to smash it. Yep, there it is. All right, now, do they find the kills? They already get the D-Mech on Void. Void going to be sent back to spawn. Surefour has killed himself somehow. That's not going to help things. And there it is. 3 quick, big plays here. The Oliv's coming in hot and quick for the Houston Outlaws. And the Houston Outlaws, they might get it done. They're going to sneak it versus the Gladiators. Houston Outlaws. Huge win. Jake can't even believe it. 3-1 over the Los Angeles Gladiators, who are just left stumped.
If you want to talk about why Houston has gotten better, I don't think it's necessarily the meta shifting or playing different heroes. This support line has improved vastly over stage 1. Raucus was getting a bunch of guff. Boink was kind of a guy you didn't even talk about. And now, Raucus has had big plays for them as the season has gone on. Boink just picked up Baptiste and played really well on it.
Yeah.
It enables Muma to play a little more aggressively and to have the confidence in his team so he doesn't mental boom himself out of games. And then the DPS are doing what the DPS do. Extremely versatile. They come up big in those moments. But this Houston team is a scary, scary team right now.
They're looking fantastic in terms of the supports. They completely outperformed the Los Angeles Gladiators. The Goose and Shaz combo right now on the back foot, but now we've got an interview with one of our winners on the floor.
Thanks, guys. We're down here with Jake. Make some noise for Jake, everybody. Congratulations. Clearly got a little bit emotional there. Oh, wow. There it goes. Oh, I love the person with the lights in the audience. They look nice. So we saw the Houston Outlaws adapt really well today. You guys played incredibly, and you yourself flexed onto a lot of different damage heroes today. Is the flexing more of a coaching staff decision, or is it your own intuition?
Right now, like, we've kind of felt today like we're really far behind in the meta. Like, we knew against Paris, like, we just didn't make the right decisions. So today we were kind of like trying a lot of new things that we hadn't tested a whole lot.
which I guess is a familiar theme for the Outlaws at this point. But I'm just really happy. Like, I think the whole team was contributing. Like, we were figuring it out live in the series. People were like, oh, you know, originally we're going to do the Mei, Sombra, and Rock was like, no, you got to go back to Hanzo here, and that's when we made the big hold on last. So it's like really everyone's working with each other to find the best swap and the best comp. So I'm just so proud of my team for like being so adaptable and great.
Absolutely. And would you say that you think adapting is going to keep continuing you guys' success because you are fighting for some of the play-in spots for the playoffs, and we really hope to see the Houston Outlaws. It's team day. Everybody is out there cheering for you. So would you say that that's what you guys need to work on for us to see you make the long run?
Well, I think it's really this 2-2-2 meta. It's because you're limited to playing 2 tanks, 2 supports, 2 damage dealers, you have to make the right decisions with your comp. You know, you can't just, back in the day, you know, you could just switch over to Goats or switch over to 3 DPS dive to counter a really wide range of styles. But now that you're limited to 2-2-2, every player's swaps are very precise, and you have to be very coordinated about what you're swapping and what you're changing. But ultimately, I feel like you have to change more and adapt more than in the past.
Well, one last thing. A little birdie told me that tomorrow is a certain somebody's birthday. So on the count of 3, I'm going to want the entire audience, especially this Houston Outlaws team day, to say happy birthday to Jake. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is so wholesome. Well, that's all we have down here. Back to you guys.
Thank you, and yes, one guy fell for it. He did start singing, and you know,
I heard. I knew someone was going to.
Who's going to do it? Is it a happy birthday or is it a sing? I don't know. But I admire you, man. You committed. You stuck to it. Good on you. Let's take a look at the standings, Hex. Let's take a look at the standings. Congratulations, Jake, as well. Another year on this planet. So, what's going on here, Hex?
Good job existing, Jake.
Yeah, good job existing.
It's a really important win for the Outlaws because it gets them to 9 wins. Look, the only teams that are really out of it are the ones with 3 and 2 wins at the very bottom. Obviously, that's why we have a tag for them. However, 9 wins, you know, the teams in the 12v7, like they're 10 wins, 11 wins, you're getting there, and you're going to have games against those teams, which always feel like they count like double wins because you give them an L, you take the W. Houston is not out of it at all, and we've been talking about the green teams being kryptonite. The Valiant and Outlaws are like a team that neither team do I want to face at all. They've taken down our top spots up there too, so this one is going to be wild going forward.
Green means go.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, it's the opposite.
Paris has looked decent as well. Outlaws and Paris was a good match. Like, all of these teams with 9 and 8 wins, it's nuts.
Well, let's take a look at our owned by HP player of the match, and it's going to be Dante. I guess they got wise to us, Hex, earlier. You know, they interviewed Jake, but they still gave the MVP to Dante. So congratulations, Dante. Definitely performed on that Sombra. He got 3 maps, and on all 3 maps, he did solid work.
Yeah, Dante has brought opposing support lines into the inferno of his own making. He's been back there the entire game. He's getting individual kills. Like, if you're in the back and you're getting individual kills, you're just winning fights alone. And that's before EMP even comes in, but I think he put so much pressure on Roar especially. Like, Roar was having to move too far forward because he was afraid of the backline and he was dying alone. The supports were dying alone to Dante. He just did so much work as this solo.
You can clearly tell it there in the stats as this match. Solid work on his part. Always felt like he, like you said, he was just getting in their opponent's minds.
Yeah, fine games.
Worming his way in there and getting all the work done. But guys, we're not done yet. We've got one match more coming at you here on this fine weekend, live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. It's going to be the Atlanta Reign versus the Hangzhou Spark. It's coming up right after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.